Genghis Khan, born as Temujin, was the founder and first great Khan of the Mongol Empire, which became the largest contiguous empire in history after his death. He was born in 1162 in the region that is now Mongolia. Genghis Khan rose to power by uniting various Mongol tribes and forming a disciplined and formidable army. Under his leadership, the Mongol Empire expanded rapidly through a series of military campaigns, ultimately stretching from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea. Genghis Khan's military strategies were highly innovative and effective, utilizing a combination of cavalry tactics, siege warfare, and psychological warfare to conquer his opponents. Genghis Khan is renowned for his military prowess, but he also implemented various administrative, economic, and cultural reforms within his empire. He established a code of laws known as the Yasa, promoted religious tolerance, and encouraged trade along the Silk Road, which facilitated cultural exchange and economic growth. Genghis Khan's legacy extends beyond his military achievements. He played a crucial role in shaping the Eurasian continent and had a lasting impact on the regions he conquered. His descendants, known as the Mongol Khans, ruled over vast territories for several generations. It's worth noting that Genghis Khan's conquests were not without brutality and destruction. The Mongols employed ruthless tactics during their campaigns, which resulted in the loss of numerous lives and the devastation of cities and civilizations. However, Genghis Khan's military and leadership skills, as well as his ability to unify diverse tribes, remain remarkable aspects of his historical legacy. I am the punishment of God. If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you. This quote reflects Genghis Khan's self-perception as a divine instrument of retribution. He believed that his conquests were a form of divine punishment for those who had committed sins or transgressions. An action committed in anger is an action doomed to failure. Genghis Khan recognized that making decisions or taking action in a state of anger can cloud judgment and lead to unfavorable outcomes. He valued calmness and rationality in decision-making. I will rule them by fixed laws, so that rest and happiness shall prevail in the world. This quote highlights Genghis Khan's intent to establish a just and orderly society. He aimed to govern his empire through a set of laws that would promote stability and prosperity for its inhabitants. Conquering the world on horseback is easy. It is dismounting and governing that is hard. Genghis Khan recognized that conquering territories through military might was relatively straightforward compared to the challenges of effectively ruling and governing the diverse regions and peoples within his empire. A man's greatest joy is crushing his enemies. This quote reveals Genghis Khan's relentless and competitive nature. He derived satisfaction from defeating his adversaries and considered it a source of personal fulfillment. I am the scourge of God, appointed to chastise you, since no one knows the remedy for your iniquity except me. Genghis Khan saw himself as the only one capable of correcting the perceived wrongdoings of his enemies. He believed that he alone possessed the ability to rectify their sins. If my body dies, let my body die, but do not let my country die. This quote illustrates Genghis Khan's commitment to the preservation of his empire and his willingness to sacrifice himself for the sake of his people. A leader can never be happy until his people are happy. Genghis Khan emphasized the importance of the well-being and contentment of his subjects. He believed that a leader's happiness was intrinsically linked to the happiness and prosperity of those under his rule. It is not sufficient that I succeed. All others must fail. This quote underscores Genghis Khan's ambitious and competitive nature. He aimed for absolute dominance and victory, leaving no room for competitors or rivals to succeed. I am the one who made the desert bloom. This quote highlights Genghis Khan's transformative impact on the regions he conquered. It suggests that through his conquests and policies, he brought development, prosperity, and progress to areas that were previously less productive or prosperous. The strength of a wall is neither greater nor less than the courage of the men who defend it. Genghis Khan recognized that the true strength of any defense lies in the bravery and determination of the individuals responsible for protecting it, rather than the physical fortifications alone. I am the punishment and the reward of God. This quote further emphasizes Genghis Khan's perception of himself as both an instrument of divine punishment and reward, indicating that he believed his actions were driven by a higher purpose. "I am the state." This quote reflects Genghis Khan's centralized authority and his view of himself as the embodiment of the Mongol Empire. It underscores his absolute power and control over the state. The greatest happiness is to scatter your enemy and drive him before you, to see his cities reduced to ashes, to see those who love him shrouded and in tears, and to gather to your bosom his wives and daughters. This quote portrays Genghis Khan's brutal and ruthless approach to warfare. It highlights his satisfaction in defeating enemies, destroying their cities, and taking their loved ones as spoils of war. An army of sheep led by a lion would defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. This quote emphasizes the importance of strong leadership in achieving victory. Genghis Khan believed that a great leader could inspire and empower even an ordinary army to overcome a stronger force. The strength of a family, like the strength of an army, is in its loyalty to each other. Genghis Khan recognized the importance of loyalty within families and how it mirrored the loyalty necessary within an army. He understood that unity and trust among family members were vital for collective strength. If you're afraid, don't do it. If you're doing it, don't be afraid. This quote conveys Genghis Khan's perspective on fear and courage. He believed that if one is hesitant or fearful, they should not proceed with their actions. However, once they commit to an action, they should be resolute and unafraid. The greatest pleasure is to vanquish your enemies and chase them before you, to rob them of their wealth and see those dear to them bathed in tears, to ride their horses and clasp to your bosom their wives and daughters. Similar to a previous quote, this statement underscores Genghis Khan's pleasure in achieving victory and the spoils of war. It illustrates his penchant for conquest and the subjugation of those who opposed him. Do not scorn a weak cub. He may become a brutal tiger. Genghis Khan recognized the potential for growth and transformation, even in individuals who may initially appear weak or insignificant. This quote highlights his understanding that underestimating someone could lead to regret. It is not sufficient that I succeed. All others must fail. This quote reflects Genghis Khan's relentless drive for dominance. He aimed not only for personal success, but also for the defeat and subjugation of all rivals or competitors. I am the flail of God. If you had not committed great sins, God would not have sent a punishment like me upon you. Similar to the previous quote, this expression underscores Genghis Khan's perception of himself as a divine instrument of punishment, implying that his conquests were a form of divine justice.